does.
Oh, yeah, I was
They're
waiting.
not very far away.
He made sure he said hi. Leslie Van Berkom and three other ladies were sitting there, and Pat and I were sitting behind them, and he came tooling, and how's it going, everybody?
We're live.
Well, it was going pretty well, right up until. Tick.
Crowd, big crowd. Joe Manzi, I take it, and should take him first.
Yes, he just has a
Look at the camera here. I realize
quick
it's time
update.
for a haircut. Sharp contrast.
All right, 5:30, having arrived, call the meeting to order. We'll stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mr. Manzi, how can we help you?
Thanks for squeezing me in. I think I'll be brief. I had a request from a resident to see if we could put together some type of holiday lighting contest type thing. Kind of a simple format on how it would work. I'm going to meet with her as well. Just basically, anybody who was interested in saying they'd like to be included could contact us. We probably generally run it through Facebook in terms of addresses and things like that. And then figure out how we would judge it and award some kind of a trophy or something for the best house for those who'd like to do it. If it went over well and there was a need for it, I think I could also try to put together some group trips to the different locations as well. But I wanted to check with the board first and see if there's issues regarding that.
I don't know if it's an issue, but I would definitely check, and I'm going to get the name wrong. The Women's Club, for lack of a better name in Deerfield, has traditionally done that. So I don't know if they've stopped doing that or if there's joint potential, but just give you a heads up that you may well be stepping on someone's toes.
Don't want to do that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Everybody okay with it? If you
Yeah.
can make it work? Go for it, Joe.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Don Tripp from the Historical Society.
Dan.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
My name's Dan Tripp. I live over at 48 Nottingham Road, over here, Bill O'Neill's old place, as everybody in town seems to know it as. I recently just taken over as president of the Historical Society. And what I wanted to do was come here tonight and tell you a few of the things that we've done in the past and some of the things that I'm looking to do going forward while I have tenure here. And then we're going to mention a couple other things that were brought up as far as like the Scenic Byways Commission. I don't know if you've seen the paperwork on that yet. Just something quick on that. That's the packet. So going back to the Historical Society, seeing as I've just taken over, I'm still learning quite a bit about that. I'm always getting new information coming up to me as time goes on. One of the key things I'm looking at to go ahead and get things rolling here is communication. I noticed over the past year, 2 years that I've been on it as just a member, I see that to me we just need to get more communication. I want to be able to communicate more with the town so the town knows what we're up to. Some of the things I'm looking at are the newsletters that go out possibly to the students from the school, internet. I've already talked to Jan about this also, getting in there, using the town boards for scheduling information, things like that. Also local newspapers, if I can get into that also. Programs, we're looking at things, I want to see if we can increase membership and take the existing membership we have and start bringing them more in to get them more involved. So I can see if we can do more different things for the town. If you have any ideas or suggestions, I'm open for pretty much anything to see what we can do to try to move things forward and get the town more understanding of what we do and kind of things we have. Some of the things that we've done in the past already have gone to catalog artifacts that we have. We're looking for grants. I just got an email tonight about possibilities for getting some grants. What I'm looking for is, I know the old town hall needs to get the windows redone. I want to see if I can do something like that to get that straightened out. Heating system, see if we can get an upgraded heating system for that. See if I can go through that. These are things that, I wanted to bring to you to see if we can go ahead and do something possibly with that to bring that building much more energy efficient and make it a more usable public building for the town. Another thing I want to do is, Bill O'Neill left a sum of money to the Historical Society for a museum. One of my goals is to go out and see if I can find a building that would work for us in the criteria that the Historical Society wants to try to stay within, and see what I can do as far as finding a building for a museum, so that I can honor his wishes as the donation that he had given to the Historical Society. Another thing I'm looking at, and I don't know how this would work as a tie-in with the town, is the computer system we have. I want to look into that computer system to find out, okay, how user-friendly is it? Can I go ahead and incorporate that with the town, or should I leave it separate? I want to use it not only to catalog and get all the information that we have in the little museum that we do have right now. I want to also look at possible genealogy that's in there. I know we have dates and people that were from the town, have grown through the town, and then have left. And I'm curious if some of their ancestors ever come back looking for information, what their ancestors did here. Excuse me, I want to see if we can get something going on that based on the computer, so people can come back, research it, understand it. And I want to tie that also in with our museum going forward. Let's see. Some things we're looking to do is possible house tours, schoolhouse tours, things like that. Things that I've seen done in other historical societies. When I moved up here from Connecticut, these are things that a lot of the historical societies did. I see a little bit of that up here. I don't know if we could even do it here in the town because we're a very small town, but we're so rich in history. To me, it's something I think people should be aware of and understand. So, looking at stuff like that. Let's see, what else do I have here? And the last thing that I'm involved in, that I'm looking also into, is the handicap accessibility for the old town hall. I myself work for Otis Elevator, so it kind of gives me an edge on understanding elevators and how to put them in and things like that. So I'm, right now, I went out, got a price from my company to go ahead and look into get something. I've been working with Rick Pelletier to figure out, okay, what type of a building do we need? What kind of a structure can we put in to go ahead and adapt it to that building? So this is something we're looking at. I don't think anything is really going to happen until after the 250th. Once I get all this information together, I expect Rick and myself to come down and do a presentation for you so you understand what we're looking at, why we're looking at it, and then go out and get additional quotes so that we have all this information. So when we come forward to you with this information, either we can do it through grants, a warrant article, I don't know. So these are things that I don't understand. That's why I need to, bring it to you people so you can help me understand what I need to do to move forward on stuff like this. And Jan had asked me about looking into a handicap elevator for you to put right over here. I'm looking into that now also to see what we can do with that, so that we'll have that, we'll be able to get to this floor. Last thing is the scenic byways. What I want to do is find out from the board, is this something that we're serious about, that we really want to look into? Do we really want to get involved in this? I know right now Fran Menard has been working on this, trying to drum up more business, because I'm the only one right now that's going to, I want to say, some of the meetings, because they generally schedule them during the day and I have to work for a living, so I can't make a lot of these meetings. Now they started scheduling them at night, and so now I'm able to go to these. I've been following it along. I get all the minutes that happen there, so I can follow along, understand it, Anybody who's been going to the meetings, which would be Fran and Lindsay, they would go ahead and update me and let me know what's going on tentatively with what's going on, or what's going with that. So last meeting I went to, they were saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. And based on the information I have, I was told that, no, Town of Deerfield doesn't want to do it. So I put a kind of a stop to everything, saying that until I find out from our selectmen what they want to do going forward, that's the way I'm going to handle it. So for right now, you know, I'm going to abstain from that. We're not going to do anything as far as Deerfield's concerned. And that kind of put a stop to everything, because we're like the main leg of this whole thing, because Northwood's doing it, Candy is doing it, everything goes right through Deerfield. So this is something that, you know, I just need to understand from you. We can do a meeting off-site, however you want to do it, and we can figure out how to go ahead and handle this going forward.
Good.
Yeah, I don't have a definite board opinion, but I think it's fairly safe to say that the board has not been overly committed to the project. We had a previous town administrator that had some interest. And I know, and you're probably familiar with this, from the get-go, there were some inconsistencies with identification of sites of interest in Deerfield, and encouraging people to stop by and visit the public beach that they wouldn't be admitted to unless they were a Deerfield resident, or to see historic sites that haven't existed for a decade or two, that type of thing.
So I'll go with whatever the town wishes. I mean, that's going to be my guidance as far as what the town would like to do. If they want to try to go for it, I'll work with somebody. I don't want to be the only one there. Okay, I want somebody else from the town, at least two of us anyway, to go up there with pertinent information that the town wants to follow through with, or they don't want to follow through with. If you want me to put a stop to it, just let me know. I'll go to the next meeting and say Deerfield's going to bow out because of A, B, C, D. So, okay? That's all I have.
Well, as Andy said, we wound up not being committed to the project
Okay.
because of the way it was going. And I would say unless we see significant changes, I don't think we'd really be interested in being a part of it.
I'm just curious what period, what time frame are you in the last?
This was probably 2
years?
years ago, and maybe I'm not the best spokesman. I was always a little bit biased against the original
Maybe 3?
project,
Closer
so
to
I don't know.
Closer to 3 years.
I got the 3 from Fran.
Yeah.
I think one or two of the towns that were in the initial go-around had dropped. I believe Raymond was included and dropped.
Raymond and Nottingham, both of them dropped out.
Right.
So, yeah.
So unless a entirely new plan has come up, something different, I would say that we're not necessarily interested in it.
Okay.
And I guess I'd be interested in hearing from the public if there's something else we're missing. I don't recall this process, so if,
We could come up with a final answer by, we haven't.
yeah, I
meeting
would
next
suggest,
Monday.
why don't we talk about it again, just so it would give us an opportunity to just reach out to the community a little bit to see if there's something else we're missing about what to look at,
Okay.
or to give guidance as to what we would like
Unless
to
we
see.
hear some significant communication from the public,
Okay.
someone,
So it seems like we could say we could get back to you for sure.
We have a meeting next
Okay.
Monday.
we got a meeting next Monday.
Okay, because the, was it November, I think it's November 4th is when my next meeting is.
Bless you.
That's when it's slated.
So our next meeting is the 2nd.
Second.
So
Second?
Yep.
Perfect.
And did you say it was Raymond, and what was the other town, Nottingham?
That dropped out?
Yeah.
Raymond
Yeah,
and
it was
I-
Raymond and Nottingham that dropped out.
Okay.
The only ones that are in it right now, and I don't even think they're wholeheartedly into it, is Northwood. Because they show up at the meeting with 2 people, and then the next time they don't have anybody show up. And then all of a sudden, one person shows up and they say, oh yeah, we got a whole bunch of people that are interested. And the next meeting comes, we don't see anybody. So, and I see the same 2 from Candy all the time, so.
I'm not totally clear on the whole discussion about it 3 years ago, but I do remember thinking that it was not to our best interest to remain part of it, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense at the time.
Okay.
We can have a formal decision by the 2nd.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
If you come and see us again next Monday, we'll give you a heads up.
Definite answer.
Okay, what time would you like me to be here?
6.
We can do it at 5:30, we can.
Same time, 5:30.
Same time? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions for me on
Well, I'd
anything?
like to thank you for your enthusiasm and your participation.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I guess the only thing I would like to add, and it sounded like you're already doing, is that you talked about a lot of different areas, the town hall, and
Yep.
that I'm assuming, hoping that you're talking with Jan about everything, because there's, for example, there's been a lot of work on, in the past about thoughts about elevator for the town hall, and I think it'd be probably helpful for you to know the history of efforts, if you don't, unless you already do.
I've already
couldn't
dug
tell.
through it.
Okay,
Because one thing, before I even look into anything or enter into anything, I have to understand it.
yeah, great.
And
okay.
so I dug through everything. Fran dug up a ton of files for me. I went through all the financials, everything, warrant articles, you know,
Great.
just
Thank
on
you.
and on.
That's
You're
good.
welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's talk some budgets. We have the Conservation Commission. And right now, we're looking at $2,343, which is $266 up. Anything special going on, Eric?
With regards to the increase, or,
Yeah. Or anything you really want to?
well, I would say the increase, just so you know, the big item is dues. We are currently at $533. That's the bill we just got for 2016. So actually, we have paid that, and that would be, of course, reducing, that's an additional expenditure beyond the report that I see here that Jan gave me. You know, it's a bare bones budget, it always has been. I think the big, one change that has, and that's why Jim is here, to talk about the Trails Club. That came into fruition last year. And I think it was in the budget, but we got, I can't recall exactly. No, it was not. And so Jim has got some ideas about how things are gonna work, and maybe you wanna talk about that, Jim, just to let them
Sure.
know where we might be spending money for trails.
Sure, so we put $200 in, mainly the goal this year would be for signage on trails, and maybe standardizing the signage on the trails that are already on, that exist on town property. There was a meeting and we had conversations about groups and outreach and additional trails, but there's nothing concrete at this point. So do you have any questions on that, or?
Sounds like we're good.
All good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Any questions for the Conservation Commission? No?
Good job, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank
you,
you.
Jim. The Police Department. How's it going today, Chief?
Very well.
All right, PD, $714,854. We're up 46,506. Looks like your stats are up big time.
Stats are up quite a bit, yeah. So that increase, you know, again, is attributable to personnel costs. You know, we got a new full-time position approved. So that pretty much is what that 6.8% increase is all about. We did eliminate 2 part-time positions as well. So we could offset, we took, you know, 15,000 out of the part-time line, and so it offset it a little bit, but certainly not enough for the whole position. Other than that, everything pretty much stayed the same. The retirement went up again this year. We have no control over that. And then as you go through, you'll see a few changes. In particular, you folks moved, decreased the gas from $4 a gallon to $3.50 a gallon. So what I did was, and we took out a few gallons as well. So I had $4,000 out of that we kind of redistributed to one, vehicle maintenance, computer technology, ammo and firearms, miscellaneous, and uniforms. Those areas were chosen basically because we always run over on those. So those were the areas that we chose to kind of redistribute those funds in. Other than that, everything pretty much stayed the same.
I'd like to go back to the stats, just to be able to read them in.
So, yeah, I mean, what I did was,
The one specific, Chief, 2014, we had 10 drug arrests.
correct.
This year, yet, we have 45. It's a
Yeah, I mean-
350% increase.
Right. You know, I compared everything from January 1st through October 23rd for this year and compared it to what we had in the same time frame last year. So, you know, you get a 17% increase in calls for service, 62% increase in arrests, the 350% in drug arrests you just mentioned, 23.5% increase in motor vehicle stops, citations, warnings. You know, I mean, the drug thing, you know, it's a sign of the times. We're not immune to it. And I think the rest is just kind of shows that, hopefully, shows that, you know, people are out there doing their jobs. You know, we get 2 new guys coming on board. I know you asked for them to come in tonight. Neither one of them could make it. I didn't forget your request, but I will make sure that they come into one of these meetings in the near future. You know, they
Either that,
started.
or we could just press the button.
Yeah, they started their 8 weeks of field training. Then they got, you know, 4 months in the academy come January. So we're looking at next May before we get everybody up and running. And so I would hope to see, you know, even a little more activity once we get them on board too.
Questions for the police?
Yeah, I just have more questions about the statistics, and I kind of focused on the arrest one. You know, we had 88 this time last year, and now we have 142. So that might be a good thing. It's probably a good thing. But it made me wonder, can we get information down the road about what happens with those? Like, what percent, it's got to mean more work, because you don't just arrest, then you've got to follow it through, right? And you got to do research in court and all that.
Yeah, everything, paperwork, court time, everything goes up, absolutely.
I mean, I think one thing that might be helpful for us to know at some point is what percent of those, what happens to them? You know, what percent are convicted, or what are you drop, or, I mean, is that?
You're asking for a lot of research, a lot of time.
Well, I guess what or could we know, I mean, if we're making 142 arrests, but only 23 of them
Right.
go the distance,
Yep.
could that mean we might want to be looking at the arrests? Or, I don't know, I mean, I'm honestly asking.
That's kind of a hard information to give you because, you know, some might play out right from the get-go. Other cases
Right.
might drag on for months or a year or better. There's so many different things that can happen with different cases that it would be really hard to, provide that information as, you know, as time goes on.
Do you think that increase, and I understand it's sensitive to talk about past work, but do you think that increase is because we're out there more on the roads more, we're seeing more, we're encouraging your department to follow through?
That's a big part of it. That is a big part of it, is the people that are out there.
All right, any other questions?
I really appreciate seeing this. I mean, this gets sort of hard data. I think that's helpful.
And we're expecting to replace another cruiser this year, right?
Correct, yes. Yeah. Yeah,
All right,
the Taurus will come offline and we'll get another one.
All right, let's move on to highway safety.
That's an easy one, no changes,
$853,
still the same.
and exactly the same.
And then the other one is animal control. That stayed the same, except for, I think we took out $320 for a phone, because there's only one ACO now instead of two, so it was budgeted for two. So other than that, minus that $320, everything else is exactly.
The ACO budget
same.
is now $10,602.
How's that, excuse me, how's that working out, chief, going through the PD?
How is you mean the function of the ACO working
Yes.
out? Very well. I mean, our ACO is, she's sitting, I don't want to, she's sitting right there. I can't remember. She does a great job. She really
Oh,
does.
it's not so much that, but it didn't used to go through the PD. It's not a problem.
Not a problem for me.
Didn't used to go through the PD, and it was a huge problem. It's
Right,
going
that's
through
what
the
I'm
PD,
getting
and there is no problem.
And she does a great job for us, too. She's always there when you need her, so.
You bet.
All right, any other questions for the police chief? Thank you, sir. Mr. Tibbetts? Let's talk about the fire department. How are you, Mark?
Good. Which one are you gonna do first?
Well, I got the fire department in front of me. $224,340. That's an increase of $71,148.
And you probably know why the increase, we put the
I'm looking at the protective gear and vehicle maintenance and repairs.
10 air packs in there also. As you probably know, I've had a bad year on maintenance. I just picked up another truck today, Liberty, just under $3,000 for a new clutch. And when they went to inspect it, the main spring was broken on one side. They had to price the other side to make it even. And they found a wheel seal leaking.
What vehicle is that?
Engine 3, which is 35 years old.
Young.
Yeah, it's, I hate to spend the money, but I need that for backup until we get a new tanker, and that truck's going also. The other thing is, I budgeted last year 10,000 for maintenance, and I'm already over 20,000 this year. Our 2006 rescue truck, I had a lot of work. It's noted for the F550s, and that engine having a lot of problems. I had to have the engine worked on with leaking antifreeze into the engine this year. I spent over $6,800 on that truck. 2002 needed a new fuel tank because it all let go inside and it was plugging up the line. I had to replace the truck, plus tank, plus a couple new tires. So it's just maintenance that I can't control.
Understood. Questions for the fire chief?
No, good job.
No, that's good on the fire department there, Mark. Thank you. Rescue squad.
That's Cindy.
Huh? Well,
Want to go to George B. White?
why don't we do the rescue squad with Cindy, because you can hang right there, and then we'll do the George B. White.
Come on over here.
So $48,810, an increase of $612. Looks to me like you cut a few lines in uniforms and the telephone, but added training and seminars, $1,900.
In the, not in the training and seminars, in the equipment maintenance for the Lucas, we added another $1,550 for a maintenance agreement for our Lucas
Okay.
machine.
I remember seeing that, okay. So the public safety line, you cut it, $714? What does that deal with usually?
Well, that was our community CPR classes and first aid classes in our apprentice program.
And
We
you-
haven't had any apprentices come.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Questions for the rescue squad?
It's all good.
Thank you very much, Cindy.
Thank you.
All right. Government buildings. It's time.
This time.
It's time. Hold on, Mark. We're gonna have to move to a public hearing. Just give me a minute. All right, it being 6 o'clock, I'm gonna recess the Board of Selectmen's meeting and open a public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Selectmen of Deerfield will hold a public hearing at the George B. White Building, 8 Raymond Road, Deerfield, New Hampshire, 03037, on Monday, October 26, 2015, at 6 p.m. per RSA 231:59-A to consider whether the southerly extension of Hartford Brook Road, beginning at the northerly boundary of Lot 27 through 18 and Bloomfield Road, should be designated as emergency lanes. We're now open for public comment.
Could you explain what this means?
It basically means that we're going to be able to open up the development rather than only being able to access by Middle Road. They can go through the development and come out on South Road, am I correct?
Yes.
And we'll be accepting maintenance of it. Or
We'll be
plowing
accepting
it.
winter maintenance of it this year in order to maintain that corridor, the emergency lanes for access to the development from both South Road and Middle Road. It'll relieve some of the pressure also on Middle Road. Yes, sir?
Is this in regards to the barrier?
Yes, the barriers will be taken down if we accept it.
Okay. I live at 58 Hartford Brook Road. My wife is pregnant. She's due in March.
Congratulations.
Come the 11th hour, I mean, that's 5 minutes.
That's a
more
big
for us.
difference in time going through South Road, yes.
So that'll definitely save me some time and some stress, and plus, come March will be inclement weather.
So you're in favor of it?
Definitely in favor.
Probably be a little less bumpy and washboardy than.
Could the-
My car will be clean.
Could the road agent speak, just so it's on TV?
Want me to?
Sure. Sit next to the other Mark.
I think this is a good thing. I was the one that went to the attorney and asked him how we could make this all happen. And it's just going to save time, money, being able to maintain that road from the South Road end. It's not going to put any pressure on anybody. You know, we're due to take over the road in the spring anyways, but I'd like to see all the construction done in the development before the developer puts down the final course of pavement, so it's going to take all the pressure off and, you know, a rush job. So, and it's going to take a huge strain off Middle Road.
Great,
Great.
thank you.
Yes, sir?
I'm at 81 Harper Brook Road. I've seen tractor trailer trucks.
What's your name?
Sean Callahan.
Thank you.
I've seen tractor trailer trucks have to back down the road because they couldn't turn around.
Right.
That's kind of safe.
So you're in favor of it also?
Is anyone opposed to us doing this? Is there any further public comment?
Is there an estimate of cost to do this?
Is it going to cost us anything, Mark?
Just the extra cost of plowing it, that's it. I mean, we're gonna plow it, we plow the lower end anyways.
No, but in the future, we will pave it, we will do everything.
It will be paved when we take it over.
I understand, but
Down the road, yes. We will be accepting the maintenance.
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment too. We have a 30,000 gallon cistern that was put in on the upper side. Now that this road is gonna be open, all the houses on that road will be protected with water.
There you go.
Yes, sir, out back.
This is a great idea. I'm all in favor. I've got elderly people that come.
Can I get your name, please?
Bill Schreier. I'm at 84 Middle Road, but that's the corner of Harper Brook Road. I'm in favor. Great idea. Just wondering when this would take effect.
Immediately.
Immediately.
Wow. Half an hour. Send Marco up with the loader.
The developer is in the back of the room, and I'm sure that if we agree that he'll make every effort to get it done as quickly as possible. And I'm not seeing any more public comment. So I'm going to close the public hearing and reconvene the Board of Selectmen's meeting. we need to vote on the following proposed decision. The Board of Selectmen held a public hearing under the provisions of RSA 231:59-A to consider whether the southerly extension of Hartford Brook Road, beginning at the northerly boundary of Lot 27 through 18, and Bloomfield Road, hereinafter the roads, should be designated as emergency lanes. The roads provide an alternate access to the Hartford Brook subdivision. Currently, the roads are subject to barricades forcing all traffic northerly to the sole access to the subdivision. This is placing an excessive burden on Middle Road, which is a dirt road. Opening the roads to the south will relieve the pressure on Middle Road, enhance public safety by providing an alternate access to the subdivision, and provide a better integrated road network for the town. Therefore, the Board of Selectmen declares the roads emergency lanes for snow plowing and winter maintenance purposes only, subject to condition that the owner agree to remove the barricades and allow winter maintenance by the town. Could I get a motion on that?
Motion to approve what the chairman just read.
Second?
Discussion. Win-win. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Jeff, thank you very much. All right, back to business. Government buildings, 86. Thank you all for coming. You don't have to leave right now.
Thank you.
$86,741. It's up $6. Got anything to talk about, Mark?
No, it's pretty self-explanatory as far as the contract line, electricity, oil, propane, maintenance, supplies.
Page 17. Anybody have any questions about government buildings?
Not at this time.
All right, moving on to the George B. White Building. $129,527, with an increase of $3,322 in the repairs and maintenance line.
My intentions this year are to do the two bathrooms up here. We're going to, there's all new plumbing.
Up there?
These two in the middle.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to take the bathrooms out, the toilets out, the sinks. We're gonna put new stalls in. We're gonna strap the walls and put ceramic tile on like down below on the floors and the walls, and chem ply 4 feet up, new ceiling. And the bathrooms are be just like the ones down on the lower end. And if I have money enough, I'll do a handicap bathroom. And then next year we'll do the 2 up here. Then all 3 sets of bathrooms have been done over.
Nice.
If you haven't been in, I can only speak for one of them, but the men's room is certainly.
Just go in those bathrooms and you'll understand what we're talking
I
about.
can speak for the other one, they're very nice, quite impressive.
I mean, and they've been in there, it'll be a year this January, and they look just like the day we did it last year.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Any questions for Mark on the George B. White Building? All right, moving on to Town Hall. $34,508, an increase of, it says 1,000, but it looks like, all right, that's right, yep, 1,000.
As everybody knows, I always, every year, have a lot of problems with the sprinkler system. It never fails, it's just repairs.
How much did we spend on it this year? Ballpark it.
I'm not sure, around $7,000, I think. My intentions are this next year, is to paint the back, then we complete the cycle. I'm putting a new bulkhead on this coming week on the side. We had to use 2 shutters to repair all the other shutters last winter when we painted them, and I'm looking for parts right now so we can get the 2 up there that's missing.
That's why those aren't up.
That's right. I had to use 2 to repair the other.
Well, the others look great.
The town hall looks
Ones-
great, Randy.
ones are up.
Lynn did a great job painting, it looks good. We did have some repairs inside this last week. The floor lifted in 2 different places. I think I know why. There was no water leaking or anything like that. I think that we need to reconnect the fan under the building. I think moisture got in there through the summer months, and we didn't have enough ventilation, and we're working on that now.
Is it something gonna be easy, or?
We've already repaired it. The fan, we have to move to a different location. When the sprinkler system was put in, it used up that whole area where we had that.
Where you had the fan?
But we're working on it. We're talking about right now where we can put it.
All right. Questions for the town hall?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. Just for information purposes, can you do the update on the back door that there was concern about
Yep.
earlier in the year?
We've paid for it. It's all in stock, and I've been after, Dave Watmow has promised all summer to put it in. I've been after him every 2 or 3 weeks. I met with him Monday, and he's promised me it will be in the next few days.
Okay.
So, he's so busy working, doing everything else, but he's gonna donate his time, and it's all, we paid for it, it's all in, it's ready to go.
Just needs to be installed.
Right.
Could I back up to
Sure.
George? I apologize. I just wondering about the sign out front. We've been talking about that for a long time, too. And
That was repaired.
but we haven't done any painting or any replacing or anything, and I thought that was in the works, right? Aren't I right?
What's left to do, we did the 2 police sign over the other one. We put a brand-new reader board in there this summer.
So I guess I was assuming there was going to be an attempt to make it match like color and stuff to,
You mean if I was painting the wood?
yeah, and updating. And did Claire decide not to do anything, change to hers?
I don't think she's decided to do, I don't know. They've talked to her several times about it, but my part's all done except if you want the 6x6 painted, we can do that, but everything else is all brand new. We paid $2,000 for all brand new reader board this summer with Frank Sarah.
Okay, I was just,
So those are just bare 6x6s?
Yeah.
I think you ought to put a coat of paint on them.
Okay, what color would you like it? Do you want it stained? Do you want it painted?
well, I thought maybe it ought to like match the color on the building. The building looks beautiful.
idea.
Okay.
The building looks beautiful,
put
but if we
vinyl
could
in.
make it kind of
Yep.
fit together, that's what
Okay.
visually,
I will try to get it done before cold weather, but if not, it'll be the first thing in the spring.
great.
Anything else? Town hall? All right. Water holes and forest fires, $7,201, same as last year.
As you know, I take very pride in all the water holes and systems. I'm out there every weekend, so.
Very much so.
The library.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it if they have questions.
And they'll be in next week. Bless you.
Excuse me. All right, water holes are good. We have the library here, but the library's not here, so we'll talk about that next week. Is that,
You want to discuss warrant articles?
well, while you're here,
Okay, I'm ready. We've discussed some of them earlier this year anyways, if you remember.
right?
Just again, I asked for $50,000 to put in a capital reserve like we have for the last several years. If you remember right, I came back in 2 or 3 months ago and presented a warrant article to you people for $63,379 to re-roof the 3rd building where we have all the problems on that roof, leaking in the wintertime.
But George, you're right.
Yes, the 3rd section. That was from Therian Roofing.
Okay, there it is. So for $63,000, we're gonna have
Brand new roof.
a brand-new roof and something that's gonna last and work with our,
Well, the last one's
Improvements?
been on there 45 years.
and it hasn't worked for 45 years.
It worked for 20 years. We had it spray coated back here, and it guaranteed for 10 years, and it lasted 10 years.
Okay.
In the wintertime, everybody knows, I have a problem with that. I'm up on that roof
Oh,
all
yeah.
winter long, putting salt up there, doing everything, because it backs up. It's a big problem.
What is that roof?
metal.
All right, and you're looking
It's
for,
something to think about. I got some prices because we're in the process of, completing this building, but we need a roof on it to complete it.
yeah, it makes no sense to work on the sides when the roof's not good.
Right. Just to let you know, talking about roofs, that Therian Roofing that you people approved are gonna be here within probably a week to 2 weeks to do the roof down in the third section, the flat part of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, I've kind of got a tentative price today from Gary Anderson, an electrician, to finish up the last of the 6-year plan to complete the third section of the building, which would be the back section, the whole side on the pizza side, and in the indention into where you go into Parks and Recs, as well as them double doors. To complete everything, and do all the electrical, we're talking $60,000. $54,000 for the carpentry part of it, and the siding and the doors. But I need about another $5,000 to $6,000 for electrical, and I've got a cushion of $1,000 in case I run into problems.
So we're not gonna be putting another $35,000 warrant article, we need to do a
If
$65,000?
we want to complete it, because
Right,
we wasn't
well-
able to do the backside this year because we ran into problems.
Mm-hmm. And how's the far side going?
It will be completed by Friday. I'm going to get the paint.
And we haven't
tonight.
run into any more huge,
Nope, it's gone very well. The doors are all in, it's turned out very nice. Gary's done an excellent job.
I also talked with Mark, and I suggested that he get a price for new doors at the front of the building. Hopefully make them more airtight and weather-tight, and possibly putting 2 small windows on the side that will open instead of just glass like they are now, so we don't have to prop up the doors in the summertime to let air in.
As well as the door going into the side for the town clerk, tax collectors, that will be the last door, then all the doors in this building will been completed.
anybody have any objections to
No.
that?
Look into it.
Yep.
One question on the 60,000, is that taking into consideration the issues that we found, the reframing and the new studs and stuff?
Yep, we worked on it today. This is the price we come up with today. This will complete the whole building as far as the walls.
So anyone have any questions regarding the warrant articles that the fire chief / building maintenance department is proposing?
Not yet.
Okay,
I have 2 more.
go ahead for it. Why not?
I'm bringing it up again tonight about the rollover the purchase lease for new tanker. I brought it up before, and there was questions about it. I'm bringing it up again, because I'm here to do that.
What else you got?
And the other thing is, I've been talking to Jan. As you know, the last couple of years, I've had major problems with repairs. And I didn't know if the selectmen wanted to set up a warrant article for capital reserve for vehicle maintenance. So,
Talking fire department vehicle maintenance?
yeah, it's just, it kills my budget every year. And it's beyond my control. I mean, I'm downsizing, but I still have that.
Is that the one with the RSA 35:?
$10,000 one.
Yes.
Yeah. I just put that quickly together.
Mm-hmm.
The board can talk about it, put a cap on it if you would like. It's just,
I think it's something for consideration.
You need to
It's
talk
something to
about
think
it.
about.
Yep. Anything else, Mark?
I have one more thing. I'd like to officially turn over the 1975 Chevrolet tanker to the highway department tonight. I just gotta take a couple things out of it, but they've used it all summer. That's in the process. We planned on getting rid of 2 trucks when we get our new tanker anyways, and this truck works out great for watering the roads down because they can run the truck with the pumping gear, and it works out fine for them.
Doesn't cause a hardship for the fire department?
No, we'll make it work.
You want it?
Accept it.
You got a place to keep it now.
Do we need to officially?
Get a motion to transfer the 19...
Paperwork is in there.
Yeah, 1975. Let's make this. Let's sort here. Come on. Motion to transfer 1975 Chevy tanker from the fire department to the highway department.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's all yours, Mark.
Taking a breath.
Mark to Mark.
Save it for Keithy.
Mark to Mark. All right, thank you, Mark.
Thank you
And
again.
any questions regarding the budgets? Any,
Right now.
all right,
We have a budget committee meeting tomorrow night.
lucky you.
I'll be attending.
Did that. All right, review of outstanding minutes for the 19th of October.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Could I just ask a question? I was not there, so I'm only asking the questions because I read them. On the part about New Hampshire Listens, it didn't, did the discussion focus on the issue of the need for safety complex or police buildings, or were we just talking more generically about using them to have us talk about anything? Because
I
it
think
doesn't.
the initial idea was to talk about the safety complex, but the point we're at right now is to pick a lead person in Deerfield, and New Hampshire Listens will contact us.
I just thought maybe the minutes ought to reflect that.
Yeah, it was, we did discuss, I think, probably more specifically, safety service needs discussion, yeah.
So maybe could we just, again, I wasn't there, but I was looking at it thinking that's what it was about. So it seems to me that it should be in the minutes that there was discussion about, a topic would be.
We can do that.
Safety, what you just said, safety complex
Services.
needs,
Safety
safety service
service.
needs. You just add it,
No problem.
we might want a record of that.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. We have a accounts payable manifest in the amount of $34,907.65.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let me keep that part there. Thank you. I have a payroll manifest grossing at $48,877.45.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And just for the record, it nets at $36,818.31. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have a request from the fire chief to remove $1,395 from our equipment fund to pay the following bill for a hydro assist valve. So what's the name of that fund?
It's the fire equipment, fire apparatus equipment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to transfer $1,395 from the fire apparatus and equipment fund to pay for a Hydra assist valve on what?
It's a four-way valve, so if we have a major fire, we can hook into 2 or 3 trucks into this board, so.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have a
Quite entertaining.
current use land use change tax collector's warrant in the amount of $13,650 on Stephen and Carol Sarrow of Deerfield, New Hampshire.
I would make a motion that we accept the land use tax change penalty.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll take the money. I have a current use land use change tax collector's warrant in the amount of $7,000.
I would make the same motion to accept the land use tax change fee.
Second?
Moved and seconded. This one is for Barbara and Jeremy Bacon, 185 North Road. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Once again, this time in the amount of $13,000 on RJM Holdings, 212 South Road in Deerfield.
I would make a motion that we collect the land use tax change fee.
Second?
There's one warrant, 2 bills.
So we can collect both bills on the same motion because the motion's for the warrant, right?
The same thing, just two separate land situations totaling $13,000 at RJM Holdings.
So there's 3 signatures instead of 2.
All right. Once again, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's take the money. Data phone?
Sure.
Thank you, sir. All right, I have the contract to renew the group's employee benefit renewal rates for Health Trust. Dental. The rate is from January 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2016. And I believe the rate did not increase.
No, they did not.
Same as last year. So can I get a motion to approve me signing the agreement?
I would make a motion that we authorize Chairman Barry to sign the group health dental agreement.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I think there's 3.
I have a resolution regarding the health reimbursement arrangement. Whereas the town of Deerfield has previously determined on January 1st, 2010, that it would be in the best interest of the town of Deerfield employees to adopt a health reimbursement arrangement allowing employees to receive reimbursement of medical benefits. Be it resolved that effective December 1st, 2015, the plan will be amended and restated to clarify the following language. Employees and their dependents will be responsible for the first $500 of the calendar year deductible that applies to hospital expenses. The town of Deerfield will be responsible for the second $3,500 of the $4,000 hospital deductible. Resolved further that the town of Deerfield undertake all actions necessary to implement and administer the change. The undersigned hereby certifies that he or she is the custodian of the books and records of the town of Deerfield, a government entity duly formed pursuant to the laws of the state of New Hampshire, and that the foregoing is a true record of a resolution adopted in accordance with state law and the bylaws, if applicable, of the town of Deerfield, and that said resolutions is now in full force and effect without any modification or rescission. Could I get a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just note that this has put us again in a very good position as far as negotiating new health rates for this year.
I agree. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, I have a request from the Highway Department that the following motion be made and approved. Motion to surplus the Highway Department's 40-foot storage trailer. Notice will be posted at the George B. White Building, Highway Shed, Library, Post Office Forum, and the town's website.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Going to take all the equipment out of the storage trailer and put it in the shed and get rid of the storage trailer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Good idea.
And we'll put that out. Thank you. Get rid of the 75 tanker, 1975 tanker.
And I think the library's here for their library budget.
Look, the library's here.
Library's here. Okay.
We can wait. All right. Hey, just for your knowledge, in the correspondence file is a list of properties that we've been asked by the town administrator to take a look at and make decisions, hopefully maybe next week, on what we should do with these properties that are in arrears. Just, go ahead.
Any update on 123 Notting Hill?
I sent Rick out. He has been in contact with the attorney.
Last week, there was some
Yeah.
wood smoke coming out of the chimneys.
Yep, yep.
You've got a couple of
We were looking to
properties
see
that have
if we had a couple of live ones in an empty building that we took over.
Well, we've deeded the properties, and I think we need to decide what we're gonna do with them, particularly the ones we've been on for 2 years or so.
Mm-hmm. So, just to get a chance this week to take a look at the list and see which way we're gonna go.
Uh,
Go ahead, sir.
I'm not sure of the status of the parish hall, but it occurred to me, and I should have spoken up while Dan was still here, that I believe the historic parish building, which had been discussed previously by Historical Society members as a potential museum site the last time it was available. I know we haven't deeded it, but I believe it's past foreclosure at this point and might be something that they want to consider
Okay.
looking at.
Can you communicate that?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Hey, the state of New Hampshire has sent us $19,613.76 for FEMA money. We'll have a public hearing next week.
Yep.
To accept it.
It won't snow next week.
Didn't say that,
Last a little
did you? All right. From the Deerfield Conservation Commission, monthly update. At the October meeting of the Conservation Commission, members suggested the following for a monthly update to the Board of Selectmen. Kate Hartnett has accepted the position of interim chairperson in Sarita Frey's absence during the months of November through February. West Column announced that currently 51 new photovoltaic systems are scheduled to be installed in Deerfield and Candia. I was going to say Canada. Road agent Mark Young updated the members on the status of the Japanese knotweed eradication efforts by the Highway Department. The Deerfield Conservation Commission looks forward to working with the Highway Department and exploring effective ways of minimizing the cost of managing invasives in town. And Deb Campilia has been certified as a Speaking for Wildlife volunteer, resulting from her recent training through the UNH Cooperative Extension, and is currently qualified to give talks on 5 topics. Okay, this is from the Society for the Protection of the New Hampshire Forest, talking regarding Northern Pass filing its full application to the New Hampshire Site Evaluation Committee on Monday of this week, and is you will likely receive queries from residents and taxpayers about the proposal and its impact on your community. There is a number of
Sort of their white paper on.
yeah, it's their white paper on how to deal with it, and I'm not going to read it right this second. We have a public hearing, like I said, on the 2nd of November at 6 p.m. regarding the $19,613.76 that we've gotten from FEMA. And that's it.
Treasurer's here now.
Do you want to talk, is the library ready now? All right. Well, would a couple of you step over to the microphone then, please? Thank you for coming in. Looking at a library budget in the amount of $93,453, which is an increase of $2,224. And I'm going to say most of that is due to the raise in wages.
That is correct. Good evening.
How we doing?
Just fine, thank you. And you?
Excellent, thank you.
I'm curious to know where you came up with 2,224.
Because that's what it says on my piece of paper.
Oh, mine says 2,222, so.
I changed the figure.
Oh, sure, mess with my stuff. Okay, I was
I
gonna say,
did
wait.
rounding.
Okay, got it. I guess
Any
I can-
questions on the library?
No, that explains it.
Not unless there's things they want to tell
There's-
us.
There's nothing, the only real change, like you say, was the raises, the merit raises, and then we were able to reduce our heating oil line item by $900 because the prices dropped, which is excellent news.
May not last.
Well, we still use 350, and that's
Right.
what you wanted us to use.
That's fine.
Yeah. So that should work.
How about this?
What about it?
Aren't we dropping that out?
No.
Okay.
So I think that's self-explanatory. I also enclosed State of the Town Library. Did you see that letter? Did you get that in your packet?
Nope,
Just
we
a-
did not see that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I would have made
Why don't
copies
you,
if
why
I'd
don't you
known.
read it into the record?
All right. State of the Town Library 2015. Here is an update on current projects at the Philbrook James Library. We have completed rebuilding and regrouting the chimney, replacing flashing around the chimney, waterproofing the front entry and concrete sidewalk. This work has been completed by Phil Bonney of Epsom, New Hampshire. We would like to thank Mark Young, highway agent, and the highway crew for improving drainage in the following areas: ice, water buildup at front sidewalk on Church Street, parking lot hazards due to ice and puddles between Firehouse and Town Library. This project completes our safety issues at the Town Library. Additionally, there is a small project to repair a ground-level windowsill and window frame, which we hope will be completed by winter. We have asked Kevin McDonald to address this problem for us. We do not foresee any additional projects at the town library in the near future. Thank you for your assistance in these matters.
Good job.
Thank you.
The ground-level windowsill has been repaired. As of today, it's complete. We do actually have a couple of little painting projects, which we realized the handrail was rusting onto the new steps, so we're going to try and get somebody in before it's
So
too cold.
the roof is keeping water out,
Mm-hmm.
chimney's fixed, and the steps are fixed.
Right.
Excellent.
And
Be
hopefully,
superstitious.
our nice furnace will continue to work.
Well,
Yes.
something's got to happen, but, we'll just, I think we're a lot better off specifically with the library building than we were 5 or 6 years ago. I think we've come a long way.
We have. We've done a lot, so
Excellent.
I'm happy that that's behind us. And, we also had an inspection. The town came and inspected our building, and they didn't find any problems. That was just last Tuesday.
Excellent.
So that wasn't in here because I just got that about 5 minutes before I walked in here.
All right, well,
Good news.
thank you very much.
And I would just put a plug in for people to enjoy the garden in the back.
Absolutely.
It happens to be walking distance from my home, so I actually use it quite a bit and sit on Susie Sherburn's bench. And I would just really encourage other people. It's really very sweet out back there, and it's a nice little addition to the town.
It is very nice.
Once again, thank you to the library.
Thank you.
Have a good night. All
Yes, you too.
right, I have the town administrator's report.
Kathy Shago called this afternoon asking why trees were being taken down by the cemetery on Nottingham Road. After checking with Mark Young, highway agent, these trees had been topped approximately 3 years ago, and they were now being taken down completely. And the stumps will be ground to ground level. Fred McGarry and Jerry Coogan were in today, and they were in the archives room looking at the files from the planning board. To make more room, may I have your permission to dismantle the large table that is in there and cut it down?
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, if that
Thank
works,
you.
if that works better, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe we can make a bunch of little tables.
Okay. When Jerry was in, he came to see me and asked me when the planning board was going to come see the Board of Selectmen, and I told him that it was in their court to let us know when they were available to see the board. So they're having their meeting, and as soon as I get a date, I will let you know.
Fair enough.
I'm still waiting to hear from the Department of Revenue for our tax rate, so there may be a meeting midweek, duly published and whatnot, so that it will be, so we can get our tax bills out. Gary Anderson, as you had heard, is almost completely done with the Parks and Rec side.
Questions for the town administrator?
Not right now.
Thank you, Jan. All right, unfinished other or new business, anybody have any?
Yep.
Okay.
Unfinished, looking at the review that we were talking about with the fire department, I had, just as a follow-up to the visit that the guy from Primex, Dave Witham, made, I called him and, acting as an individual, just asked if he had suggestions of a retired fire person that we've talked about before that might be able to help us when we have conversations with the fire department. And he did not. He said most people that he knows work through MRI, which I understand from some of you who've been here a lot longer than I have, is a consulting group, Municipal Resources Incorporated. So I think we're at a stage where I don't know if we have any other suggestions about how we could find someone that might, with some fire department expertise that might be able to help us. Does anybody have any other suggestions, or should we try to go forward on our own?
The only thing I would mention is MRI is similar to PPSG that we used with regard to the police department, except I think they're more expensive. The last time we used them was for review of the police department. They were very costly. It was a fairly drawn-out process, and I don't recall that we actually used, were able to use the information that they provided.
Right, yeah, I wasn't suggesting that either, so, but,
Is this something on the interviews and that stuff, Rebecca, you could handle?
right, so
Put together a list or something?
I think when we originally talked about this, we were talking about having one-on-one conversations with the current members of the department. And I think I have done a lot of exit interviews and personnel work, and I guess I would suggest that maybe I would volunteer to work on this with Jan. I don't think you should have just one person doing something like this, and it seems to me it's an appropriate role for town administrator. And timing would, we'd have to look, but, I mean, I all along have said I would like to have someone involved with us who has some more fire department expertise, but if we aren't able to do that, if no one has any other suggestions, and I would agree with Andy not to pursue spending money. But I think I could send around the questions again and see if other people have suggestions. But the idea would be to talk with, give opportunities to the current members, and I would suggest former members up to the last 2 years, not anybody who's been with us, who had left longer ago than that, but that would at least get some feedback from former members.
Yes, sir.
I'm not necessarily against that. The only concern I would have is, I think it would be good to include the town administrator, but I think we've got a roster of like 28 firemen now, or some such thing, with a handful more that have left in the past 2 years, and that might be difficult to involve the town administrator with if everybody decides they would like an interview.
So your idea would be to offer to interview or actually interview?
To offer.
Okay, so,
I think what I think is important is that you give people an opportunity to speak one-on-one, not in a group setting. That you are very clear that their feedback is anonymous, and that some of the questions, for example, one of the questions would be, what's working right? What do we want to make sure we continue to do? That it be very clear that it's.
all right, so why don't, just to get the process started, why don't we put out a notice to the members of the fire department that if they're interested, that a member of the Board of Selectmen and possibly the town, go ahead.
I think you could phrase it a little
Help me.
more aggressively here, that the Board of Selectmen is collecting input about what's working and what might be improved at the fire department, and we would love to have, to start
Anyone
with
interested?
existing firemen.
I mean, if you want, I could do a draft. I mean, I would include that
what I
it's
was-
part of what we
That's fine.
did with the Primex review.
why don't you
It's
do
part of that whole,
When I
Put
mentioned
together.
you, that's what I was expecting. You'd draw something up and we'd look at it,
okay,
not start it
right,
yet.
right.
At
And
least
I-
you're getting it started.
Yeah. And we could also put a time limit, we're not going to talk to everybody for an
Right.
hour.
Right,
But,
all
and,
right, so why don't you
Good luck
work up,
once you get them talking.
why don't you work up a draft, pass it
Okay.
to us, and
Great.
we'll see if we can't get it going.
do I hear, what is the feeling about talking to people who have been here, who left as of October of 2013?
Personally, I'm fine with talking to the existing members. The
That's
other
fair.
people have left, and I'm not really at this point looking to interview them. I want to hear the people we have, the core of the people that we have say what is and what isn't working.
Is that the consensus of the board?
I think I lean towards that, I think.
At least start with that.
Okay,
See how many
Say we
want
can
to, out of the
start.
28, how many
Start.
want to.
okay,
We may be approached by
Yeah.
okay,
recent.
okay. So I'll get a draft together and provide that for you guys by next
Great.
week.
Retired are you, huh?
What?
Retired are you? Okay.
I'm also going to be away a little bit in November, but we'll get this
Okay.
in process, and we could talk with Jan about timing.
Do you have any other unfinished business? Other new?
Under new business, I just had got a suggestion from a citizen, Edie Kimball, who mentioned that she owns land in Maine, and when she gets her tax bill, she gets a little newsletter. And I don't know about you guys, but I hear a lot of people talking about the fact that we no longer have a communicator and that there's great more difficulty with communication. And her suggestion to us, this is the newsletter she gets from Maine, that we might want to consider putting something in with the tax bill twice a year, which I thought was a great idea. This thing just has I'm guessing that the administrator there tells each department you got 250 words, because they're all pretty short.
It sounds like a great idea, but after talking with the town administrator, it sounds like logistically, getting it done this year is not going to happen. But I think planning for the next tax bill that goes out in May, I think if we start planning now, and Rebecca, you could definitely come up with a draft or a suggestion.
Yeah, we
Okay.
could also plug that into the voter's guide, which will be, I mean, I think the tax bill's a great idea, but if we don't want to wait until May,
Yeah.
we typically put out a voter's guide, and we could put
We do one then, too.
a newsletter or something along those lines in there, especially if we have time to budget for it.
Thanks, Andy. Excellent idea. All right. Andy, new?
Wes Gollum had initially talked to me about real estate tax exemption, a REIT for solar installations, and I've had two calls. Lisa and Pat Brochu contacted me, and one other person too, inquiring about this. And New Hampshire State RSA, I think it's, if I wrote it down correctly, it's 72:27A. The Board of Selectmen are not authorized to grant a real estate tax exemption for solar equipment, but we can put an article on the warrant, which would, and there's some concern about it because a number of people have bought into this Solar Up Deerfield project, more than 25 people, I believe, in Deerfield, and they're concerned. The initial questions are, because I participated in this project, and there's some state encouragement for it and some federal encouragement for it, is my property tax bill going to go up because I've got this piece of apparatus on my roof or on my lawn? And the second shoe, so to speak, was, would the board be interested in supporting a real estate tax exemption for solar installations? Which I assume if we express any interest in doing this, you can also do a real estate tax exemption for geothermal systems. It's just the equipment related to the actual infrastructure of the energy system. But I think there is some growing support for it, and I said that I would bring it before the board. As I mentioned, my research so far indicates that it has to be a warrant
Approved by the
article that
voters.
comes before the town as opposed to just the Board of Selectmen doing it. But
Good idea.
Is anybody, are we interested in putting forward such a warrant article?
Are you thinking for this year?
yeah, I would think for this year, we've got at least 25 families and probably more by the time the project pans out that are doing this. It works sort of like current use too. There's a time frame that they're not just granted a real estate tax exemption, they have to make an application. Once the town approves it, they have to make an application to the Board of Selectmen indicating why they feel they're qualified, and the board has to take a look at their property. And as I understand it, if someone's got a simple solar thing, you can exempt it. If it's an integral part of their building and you're actually giving away a third of the value of the building, you don't have to approve it. But Once it's passed, it's still subject to the board's approval.
All right, sounds like the board would be willing to put forward a warrant article for that. All right, we'll try and put that together. Anyone have any other? Yes, sir. Just a follow-up yesterday's trunk or treat. How'd that go? Somewhere around 300 to 350 cars. We figured
Wow.
almost 1,000 people.
Wow.
Crazy.
It was an
It was
amazing number of
amazing.
kids.
It went really well, though. People were very well behaved, so it was fun.
And the adults dress up too, that's what I was surprised at.
Good costumes.
Quite a few.
You didn't?
No. I was there trying to sell 250 stuff.
Do we
Oh.
have?
We sold $68.
Kids just didn't want it.
All right, any other business?
You want comments first?
We're gonna be long?
I don't know.
We have a non-public session to go into. Why don't we do citizen comments now, and when we come out of non-public, we may or may not take action. Citizens' comments.
Did you receive the email I sent showing that the state of New Hampshire's person's deductible on insurance now is $1,020?
Did you see it?
No.
Because I didn't see it.
It was
No.
not in the correspondence, no.
I sent it about a month ago. I'll resend.
All right, we need to go into non-public under C, please.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go into non-public session RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2C.
Second.
Matters which is discussed in public would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person.
Yes.
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. We'll be back. Are we live?
Yes.
I want to note for the record that no action was taken in a non-public session. Could I get a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session?
So moved.
You have to,
Moved and seconded. Yes.
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 Yes. Seeing no further business,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you all for staying.
Aye.